Yeah, welcome back to Gareth Talks Tottenham. And how are you, lovely people, on this wonderful Sunday, bright, sunny day in Kent? Sorry about my voice, but as you can hear, I've been carrying a cold, and it's made me a bit drowsy. So, but anyway, I just want to reflect on yesterday's game. Really, an absolute what can we say, colossal of a match. Spurs went into the game very positive at the start. Played some nice stuff. Wasn't all sorry about that. It wasn't all too bad in terms of that stuff, and we played on the front foot. Obviously, Manchester United at home, it's always difficult because they're always going to have a lot more of the ball than what we are because they're the home team. But they were in the game, and I think after 20 minutes or something like that, Spurs had 5 attempts on goal, which had been not too bad considering there are games sometimes this season where we don't even have any shots on target. You know what I mean? Especially in the first half. It wasn't a terrible performance in terms of that in the first half. And then we get to the decision that our captain decide to take somebody out. Reckless challenge. Look, I'm not a biased Spurs fan. It was a red card. It's reckless play. But it's all too familiar territory that we see with this player. I had a proper rant yesterday about it. It really fucking pissed me off. But we don't seem to learn from it. In my opinion, this guy is not captain material. A captain is a man of honour. Is a player that is a person that stands up and takes count of his own actions and leads his team into battle as like a captain on a army field, like in a military field, a war, leading by example and leading his troops into battle for victory. Romero is not that kind of player at all. One, he barely speaks English, so how can he possibly be captain when considering there's so many different nationalities of people in that team? Second thing is, he's not that voice. He's not that player that's going to rally you on when he makes decisions like that. And the guy has played for us for, 4 seasons, I think now. And he's had a lot of red cards, and he's had a lot of yellow cards, and he's got away with a lot as well. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's a bad player, because there's times when he just steps up and he scores good goals and he keeps us in games, and he has kept us in games this season. He really has. But when it comes to being a captain, somebody you can rely on, I wouldn't be relying on him at all. He's too inconsistent. One day he puts in an absolute weldy. The next week he puts in a dog shit performance. You can never gauge what kind of Romero you're going to get. That is ultimately costing the team. And there's other players in there as well that I would turn around and say that, they just haven't been good enough. They just really haven't been good enough this season or last season, And people turn around and say, oh, it's the players. Yeah, I've heard this same story, this same narrative for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seasons. I've heard the same thing. It's the players. Yeah. There is an issue with buying quality. We haven't bought a lot of quality, but Romero came as one of the best standout centre-backs in the Serie A, and I actually generally think he's a really good player. He's not world-class. I mean, people will turn around and say, a lot of Spurs fans will sit there and turn around and say, oh, he's world-class. World-class players don't let themselves down every other match. They don't. They put in 9 out of 10 shifts every week in, week out. I hate to say it, but someone like Declan Rice, a player that I criticised years ago, said I didn't think he was that good. is a player that puts in a 9 out of 10 shift every week. Yeah, I would much rather rely on Ben Davies to put in a good 7 or 8 out of 10 every single time he plays than say a Romero. So one day it's a 9, next day it's a 4, then it's a 5, then it's a 7, then it's a 10. You know, it's not a world-class player. And that's the same with Mickey van der Ven, by the way. Anybody that thinks that Mickey van der Ven is this world-class player, think again. Because world-class players, world-class defenders don't receive and don't conceive the amount of goals that these two have conceded in the last 2 seasons if you are world-class players. Sorry, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how fast you are, doesn't matter how young you are, doesn't matter if you're an international player. These players do not concede goals like these two do. Yeah? So there's a big question mark over whether or not both of them are good enough to be in this team, because they are way off the mark at the moment. And the same with Udogie, way off the mark. Another injury. So Pedro Porro, way off the mark. These are all collective situations that have, you know, put their personal stamps on this team this season. And then when you throw into it the likes of Richarlison, who can't hit a barn door, when you put into it other players not putting their shifts in, Archie Gray's and that, not putting enough in, and then you factor in all the injuries and stuff like that, you don't have much left. And so there really needs to be an upturn in terms of how this team is approaching games, because at the moment they are not approaching games properly. And we are in serious trouble if we cannot get results soon, because the teams below us are picking up points and we are not. Simple as. And the law of averages of mathematics means that if we continue to keep losing week in, week out, we will get relegated. Simple as. Because if Leeds can pick up points, if the spammers can pick up points and get themselves out of trouble, Spurs will be dragged into it. Because at the moment, I cannot see how we are picking up points. We are getting beat week in, week out, and we're losing by stupid goals, and we are defending like absolute wankers, yeah, and we cannot defend to save our life. So we're not scoring goals, we're not defending goals, we are somewhere in the middle, some kind of mishmash in the middle, and if we do not pull our socks up ASAP, we are going down. Simple as. And that is catastrophic. You're talking a complete collapse of this club in terms of financial. This team cannot go down to the Championship with a 65,000 seater stadium and the fan base and the players that they have. No chance in hell. The amount of money they will lose. You know what I mean? So they really need to pull their socks up. There's a big question mark now. Is Thomas Frank the guy that can do it? Is he able to rally us and get us 3 or 4 wins on the bounce and get us out of trouble? Is he able to do that? Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. You know, I don't see where the next win is coming from. Newcastle home next. We have to win that game. We've got no choice. If we lose that game, we're seriously fucked, because then we've got Arsenal straight after that. You know? And Liverpool somewhere there as well. So yeah, it's frightening. And you know, for the first time in my life, I actually think we could go down. You know, if we don't sort it out now. You know, I personally think they should have made a change back in November. Cut it short and put somebody in to the end of the season. A new bounce. Give us that extra. Even if we got that manager bounce, we get five wins on the run, or something, or 5 wins in the next 6 or something like that, and we would have the points on the board right now. But I don't see where the next win is coming from. So my question is to you guys: tell me, am I wrong? Tell me where the next win is coming from. How are we going to do? Leave your comments. Subscribe to the channel. Follow me. Share it with your friends, and let's get together, unite together, and find out where the next win is coming from, because I, for one, am really scared. Anyways, like and subscribe, as I said. Take care. Gareth Talks Tottenham. Take care. Goodbye.